Hi there. It's another evening. I hope you guys had a good night's rest. And sorry we got cut short yesterday. It got a little bit loud in the restaurant and I couldn't hear you guys. But I hope you had fun at Pita Jungle and playing with new friends and with Mommy's old friends. Yeah, I am super excited that it's not even 9. I'm ready to read you a story and go to bed. So, I thought we would read story number 11. Lazy Lance became Mother's helper. Alright? Love you guys. I wouldn't like to say out loud that Lance was lazy, because he would be very offended. And I don't like to offend anybody, but I'm afraid that was the truth. No matter what it was that you asked Lance to do, he would always reply, "I can't." For every job, he seemed to have an excuse. If you asked him to bring in wood for the fireplace, he would say, "I can't, it's too heavy." Or if you asked him to go on an errand, he would say, "I can't, I'm too tired." Perhaps you would ask him to wipe the dishes. Then he would say, "I can't, that's a girl's job." Of course, his excuses didn't mean much, and I am quite sure that the real trouble with Lance was just pure laziness. You see, he said, "I can't," only when there was work to be done. He never said it when at playtime or when his friends came to the door and asked him to go bicycling or to play ball. Then it was always, "All right, I'll be right with you." Lance's mother told him many times that it wasn't fair that he never helped at all with the housework, and yet was so ready to run off and play. But Lance was the same as ever the next day. Everything Mother said didn't seem to make any difference. One day, however, Mother had a bright idea. The next morning, Lance stayed in bed so long that he was late for school. Usually, Mother would call him in time to get ready, but Lance would answer drowsily, "I can't get up, I'm sleepy." This morning, Mother let Lance get up when he liked, and that was very late. He was cross when he came downstairs and wanted to have his breakfast immediately, but there was none for him. "Why didn't you get my breakfast?" he asked. "I can't," said Mother with a curious smile. "I'm so tired." Very angry, Lance ran off to school without any breakfast. He was so late that the teacher scolded him in front of the class, which made him crosser still. On the way home for lunch, he climbed a fence with some other boys, and when he came down, his pants got hooked on a rusty nail. He finally managed to get free, but he left part of his trousers on the top of the fence. See it right there? When he got home, he wanted Mother to mend them right away. "I can't," said Mother. "I'm too busy." "You mean I have to go back to school like this?" asked Lance, pointing to the hole in his trousers. "I'm afraid so," said Mother, and that's what he had to do. When Lance got home from school that afternoon, he wanted his supper right away, since he hadn't eaten much that day. But there was nothing on the table. He was surprised because he had been used to finding everything ready for him. "You don't have supper ready?" he said to Mother. "No," said Mother, "I can't. I'm tired. I just didn't feel like it tonight." "But I want to go out and play right after supper," said Lance. "All right," said Mother, not stirring from her armchair and looking back at the book she was reading. "Go ahead, I don't mind." "But aren't you going to give me any supper?" "I can't, I'm tired." Lance stormed out of the house and slammed the door. But as he was going down the street, he began to think things over. Perhaps Mother was tired after all. Maybe she really did need someone to help her. Perhaps she really was too tired to get her own supper ready. Lance stopped. He thought of the game of ball he was going to enjoy, and then of his mother sitting at home too tired to get her own supper ready. He began to feel sorry that he had been so cross. He would go back. Peeping through the kitchen window, Lance saw that Mother had gone to sleep in the armchair. Suddenly he realized that this was his opportunity to make things right. He really was a good boy, even though he had that very strong habit of laziness where work was concerned. Creeping into the kitchen on tiptoe, he washed the dishes as silently as he could. Still more quietly, he crept into the dining room and set the table. To be quite frank, this was the first time for many months that Lance had set the table, but he did a fine job of it. He put out all the nicest things he could find. brought in some flowers from the garden and really made the table look as if someone extra special were coming to supper. Then he noticed he had forgotten to bring in the butter dish and went to get it. Unfortunately, it was a little greasy and it slipped out of his hands, falling with a crash to the floor. Mother awoke and jumped out of her chair as if something dreadful had happened. She had been dreaming about Lance, and the noise had come just as he had been getting into trouble. But her fears turned to joy as she saw the neatly set table. "Well," she exclaimed, "who would have believed you could set a table so nicely?" They had a lovely meal together, and Mother never said a word about the broken butter dish all evening. Lance was so happy that he decided he really would help Mother more after this. Just as they were finishing supper, there was a knock at the door, and a boy's voice called out, "Come on, Lance, we're all waiting for you." "Sorry, I can't come," said Lance. "I'm going to help Mother this evening." But Mother overheard, and she came running to the door. "It's all right, Lance, this time. You can help me tomorrow." Overjoyed, Lance ran off, and I can tell you that was the best game of ball he ever played. You know, mommies do a lot of work. They do a lot of work that you don't ever see. They do a lot of work that I don't ever see. A lot of times we don't realize and understand how much they're really doing. And it's really important for us to help. That goes with everything. You know, God is working for us all the time. And He asks us to help in certain ways. Like being kind to others and sharing things that we have with people that don't have it. God wants to use us to be His hands and feet, because He's not here on this earth anymore, in a physical sense anyway. And sometimes we can be lazy. I know Daddy can be lazy. I would like to just sit and do nothing a lot. But that's not what God wants, and that's not what I really want. But God can help us if we pray and ask Him. Asher, I know that you know how to be a big helper, because I've seen you do it. And I'm proud of you. I pray that you help Mommy with Joseph and with the things that you guys are doing there. And Jojo, I pray that you could help Mommy too. You know the biggest way you could help Mommy is if you obey. Because Mommy doesn't like giving you spankings. Nobody likes to give spankings. It hurts Mommy's heart when she has to give you a spanking and discipline you. So it's really nice if you would just obey and do the right thing. Love you guys. I hope you have a good day, okay? And I will talk to you later, okay?